All right, yeah, open here. Let's do that. And I'm so tempted to just start on ranting about why I picked up this in the first place, but I think if you're interested in that, we can leave that to the end of the video. Let's just take a quick close look at this. And what we have here is the Elilee X260 or X-Novanta, X260, whatever you want to call it, which is the new updated version of the Elilee's lightest crank with a carbon spindle. But as you can see, we actually have a metal surface where their bearing sits. So I'm guessing this would improve durability and stuff like that. If it will, I do have no idea. So as always, please manage your expectations. This is not a review. This is just a little overview, and I want to see where we can end up in terms of weight. Are we finally going to be able to beat this thing? And of course, why not compare it to its little brother, or fatter brother, I would say, the Elilee X310. But before I put the box aside, it is nothing else apart from the crank. We get a few of those spacers that comes with the Elilee cranks, a manual, and here we have some pedal washers, which we definitely should when we have these recessed threads, or whatever we'll call them. I bought this without spider, so there's no spider in here. And what is this? Oh yeah, this is the name of the Japanese distributor for Elilee here, if you're wondering. Oh, and before I put this away, as you can see here, this is the X-Novanta, and it's the 170mm crank. But one thing to point out there, you can see the X-310, which is the new one with the 24mm titanium spindle, which is 185 grams supposed to be, is actually above that, and that kind of reflects in the price as well. I was surprised to find out that this is actually cheaper than the X-310. Anyway, weights. Let's see the weights. So as this little marking suggests, X260, this should be 260 grams or below. I don't think I ever will need all of these, but I will just mimic what I have on my X310, which is, I think it's 2 1mm. So I will add 2 shims to the weight there. And we have the lock ring as well. 141.3, and that's for the non-drive side, including spindle. And the drive side, 257.1. So yes, we cleared at 260 grams. That is brilliant. Actually, I should include those pedals washers as well. 159.5. I'm still clear. Happy days, happy days. Now, this is what I wanted to clear. I want to beat or match this. And you probably know this is on the lighter side. This is 307.5. Of course, we have a spindle built in here. But as you can imagine, as long as that spider is under 40, what was that, 47 grams or so, I should be in the clear. Now, the only spider I have at the moment is the one I got with the Elilee X310, and this is their aluminum 5-arm spindle, which is the heaviest they make. If you go for the aluminum, the 4-arm one is a bit lighter, but of course they also have the carbon spiders, which drops another 10-12 grams, I think. But for the sake of this video, 308.5 grams. So what's that? I don't remember. Are we still missing 1 gram? Yes. So still 1 gram missing, unfortunately. What to do? The obvious choice is, of course, to get the carbon spindle, and then we suddenly be below 300 grams, including spindle, which would be pretty nice. Of course, that spindle is pretty damn expensive. I have put my fish hooks out for something else, actually. that doesn't require this spindle. Hopefully, if that pans out, I have something to show you later. But for now, this will do. Now, since we have this on the table, let's put this on for a reference. This is the Elilee X310. Basically the obvious choice in my book. If you don't really change every single gram, this is definitely a better buy, because this is half the price of this. But on the other hand, this is more than half the price of this, which is the whole point, I would say. But just a little quick comparison between these two. These are definitely not like a carbon copy of each other. The X260 is definitely way more sculpted, and you can see has a much rounder shape all around. I would argue that the hardware definitely looks a little more sophisticated. I don't know if that means anything. You could argue that black hardware would look nicer. I'm pretty indifferent. See how it looks. This going on my titanium bike, this might actually look better. We'll see. What I do see is this uses an 8mm hex and this uses a 6mm for whatever that's worth. The other side definitely looks different, since this is a full carbon spider. Basically it's one piece from the crank all the way into the spider, while this is connected with hardware here. So yeah, it's like looking into a black hole, the event horizon. Now this graphics, yeah, I don't think their branding is their strongest point, but at least they stopped using this on the inside. Thank God for that. And the interface, just as the X310, is the Eastern race face interface, which I never can pronounce, so I'm not gonna even try. And that lock ring uses the classic Shimano bottom bracket tool. All right, for funsies, I'm just gonna set this up with my carbon tie rings, and I have some carbon tie chainring bolts as well. All right, so while I put this on, I might just jibber jabber on about why I ended up picking this up all of a sudden. And this was kind of like a premature investment, actually. I had this in the plans in the future, the continuation of the TI Weenie project, so to speak. And I was more leaning towards the X360 with the 24mm spindle. I think that's kind of a more versatile setup, actually. And this is dub, if I didn't mention that. This is a dub spindle, so annoyingly I need to put SRAM technology on my bike. Can't be helped, I guess. But yeah, I was checking the Japanese distributor and see, because I saw that Trecento is starting to go on sale on AliExpress and stuff like that. So checked the Japanese distributor, and they had them on sale as well. Not on sale, but for sale. And I noticed they had two of these as well. One 165 and one 170 crank arm length. And I was, damn, because I don't really see these on sale anywhere. Definitely not on AliExpress yet. And looking at the price, like I said, this is actually a step down from the X360. So this is actually cheaper than the slightly heavier X360, which is 185, and this is 260, like we've shown. And I'm slowly trying to move away from this. I mean, for me, this is still this is pretty much the sexiest crank on the market, no matter how you slice this. But the price has increased on this a lot since I bought this, even in euros. But add the Japanese conversion rate now, this is just insanely expensive now. So if I wanted to get a crank that's shorter than 172.5, which this is, it's just not viable for me. And like I said, this is way less than half the price of one of these. So just the economics of it made this a very enticing option for me. The other point is that this is not very versatile. Like, I can't really do much other than use 5-arm chain rings with this, because yeah, the spider is built in, so I can't mess around with this. This has a separate spider, and like I said, I can get even lighter spider if I wanted to run this as my ultimate solution. But like I said, I have something else in mind, hopefully. But if I want to run this as a one-by, I can use a direct mount chainring for that. So yeah, it kind of comes down to that. Economics and just have the versatility of having a separate spider that you can remove is a huge bonus for sure. Back when I got this, there were not really any options that were even close. I'm just happy that we actually have that now. Now, like I said in the beginning, this is not a review. As you can see, this is brand new. I have not used it, so definitely don't take this as any kind of buying advice. I just wanted to show where we end up in terms of weight and stuff like that. How this ends up working out long term, that remains to be seen. Will these, what looks like very thin metal shims or whatever you want to call it, will this last long? I have no idea. Have to wait and see about that. Before we close this out though, let's definitely check what the complete weight including chain rings for this particular setup would be. How can I weigh this so you can see? Actually, I only have one shim, so let's add one shim and add the pedal washers as well. 441.3 grams. Yeah. That is not bad. I will insert a clip of the clavicle with the chain rings as well, so you get a side-by-side comparison. It's fun that we're finally here. Alright, before we go, let's put on the single one-by ring as well, see how that looks. And now, as I showed, these are 170 millimeter crank arms, and like I said, I wanted a bit shorter than this. And if you've been following this channel long, you might know that these were 165 millimeter, and let's see, let's put them the right way maybe. And you know that 165 and below is basically all the rage now. And having run both, if anyone told me you can only run at 165 or you can only ride 172.5, for that matter, it wouldn't really make my life any different. I will say I kind of prefer the shorter cranks as long as I'm on the flat, but when I start climbing, I do prefer the longer cranks. And since I live basically in the mountains, I like my climbing, so that's, yeah. I wanted to see if I can find a sweet spot in the middle, but again, there's just so small nuances there. So for me personally, the crank arm length is not that big of a deal, but of course, if I can experiment a bit, I always like to. So I'm going from, 172.5, went to 165, and this is 170, and we'll see where we end up. See where this ends up. For example, 359 grams for a pretty damn sweet one-by setup. That is not bad. That is not bad at all. Yeah, we'll see where I end up in the end with the whole crank length thing. My hope is, of course, this will be the sweet spot in the middle for me. Is there anything else I forgot to mention about these? Actually, there is. Forgot to mention that, of course. This is what happens when you don't write any notes. The X310, which is a very popular crank, of course, has a Q factor of 151.5. These X260, is this printed here maybe? Yeah, this is has a Q factor of 149, so this is much closer to a traditional Shimano crank, if that's important for you. For me, it's definitely not, but each to their own, as they say. Now we'll see what happens with my chain ring solution. And like I said, this will go on the TI Weenie project in the next year. I need a goddamn bottom bracket as well. Damn. I thought I could avoid the dub forever, but I guess I can't anymore. Anyway, that's it. Catch you in the next one. Peace.